Hi, I'm Mara Levine, a touring folk singer and jewelry designer from Edison, New Jersey. Welcome to Woodstock Wednesdays. I was thrilled to perform in 2018 at the Woodstock Folk Festival with my touring partners Gathering Time, and I was equally thrilled when Carol sent me an email inviting me to participate in Woodstock Wednesdays. It's been a challenging time with all my live jewelry shows and performances canceled. I've been sheltering in place with and helping care for my elderly parents. This year I'm doing my best to stay active, participating in song circles and open mics all over the country and even overseas, meeting wonderful people from communities that I would never have had an opportunity to meet under normal circumstances. Some exciting things have happened during the pandemic. I joined a record label, Bell Buckle Records. I put together a jewelry catalog, and I shot my first professional music video. I'll talk more about these developments later in this program. For Woodstock Wednesdays, since I'm unable to get together with my regular touring partners, I'll be sharing some live performance videos. My latest CD, Facets of Folk, is a collection that includes a number of songs of social conscience with themes of taking a stand, making a difference, and considering the treatment of others. As I was selecting material for this project, I was inspired by the current political and social challenges facing us today, and I thought a great deal about the importance of speaking out against injustice, both societal and for people in our lives who are being wronged. The first song you'll see is called Be the Change, and it's written by a wonderful songwriter named Arlen Bennett. Although their names are not mentioned, Rosa Parks and Gandhi are described in the song as examples of people who've effected change through nonviolent actions such as speaking out, singing, and voting. I'm performing with my frequent touring partners Gathering Time at the Philadelphia Folk Song Society. All right, so shall we? A woman stepped on a bus like any one of us after a hard working day. She walked halfway back to a seat marked for last and took her place. She was someone who really understood how a law could be a crime. When she wouldn't give her seat to a white man on his feet, yes, it was time to be the change. Passover taking place from March 27th through April 4th, and Holocaust Remembrance Day, or Yom HaShoah, from April 8th and 9th, my second song, By My Silence, written by Ellen Buxtell and Nick Annis, has a special significance. I feel that it is one of the most powerful songs written about the Holocaust. It's also performed with Gathering Time at the Philadelphia Folk Song Society. Thank you so much. I have to just say how privileged I am to have been working collaboratively with Gathering Time. It's been 10 years. So we are not a group together, but we record together and occasionally do shows like this together. So in 2017, in Charlottesville, when the alt-right protested and someone was killed and a lot of people were injured, and we saw that folks felt empowered, some groups felt empowered to be hateful and be divisive, we decided to put out a double single, a two-sided single.
That's what they used to call them.
Right, a CD, two-sided single, and Stuart Marcus had written a song which they'll do in their set called Too Far to Turn Back Now, and I took Ellen Buxtell and Nick Annis' song, By My Silence, which is a very powerful song, and it is based on the speakings or poem by the Reverend Martin Niemöller, who was a Protestant minister who was in the time of Nazi Germany, tried to counsel Hitler. That didn't work. And then when he spoke out, he was incarcerated in concentration camps for 8 years when he finally spoke out. And Stuart, you want to tell a little bit of the rest of the story?
Well, just a little over a year ago, we were on tour together in Europe. We played in Ireland and in Germany, and it just happened we were about an hour's drive from the Dachau concentration camp, which is now a museum and memorial park, and we saw his cell. It was the model, actually, for all concentration camps that came afterwards. And there was a big display to him. He, of course, when he got out, was asked how was it that he, a full-blooded German and a Protestant minister, was put in a concentration camp. He gave the famous quote, "First they came for the communists, and I did not speak out because I was not a communist." And you know the rest.
Mm-hmm. And this song is based on that. So when they came for the communists, I held my tongue, minded my own business like a good neighbor. I trusted that justice was done. I didn't ask what was their crime, it was their sadness, wasn't mine. I didn't care where they were sent. By my silence, I gave my consent. By my silence, I gave my consent. I am not Jewish, and so when they came for the Jews, I had nothing to say. Branded with stars like cattle in boxcars, and then taken away. I didn't ask what was their crime, it was their sadness, wasn't mine. I didn't care where they were sent. By my silence, I gave my consent. By my silence, I gave my consent. I didn't care when they came for the Unionists, came for the Socialists, took the powerless. I'm not a terrorist, I'm not an immigrant, I'm native born, faithfully ignorant. I didn't care what was their crime, till their sorrow turned into mine. Their sorrow turned into mine. I was okay, I was a citizen, and I was free. I didn't care, now there's nobody there. for my silence to give my consent, for my silence to be my consent, by my silence give my consent. Thank you. And again, that was written by Ellen Buxtell and Nick Annis, and I do think that's one of the most powerful songs written about the Holocaust, and really we should all think a lot about our responsibility to speak out when we see not just things of societal things, but what about some person in our life that's being wronged and we're afraid to speak out that something's going to happen to us. So we think about that. As a song finder, I'm always listening to the work of other artists and searching for the gems of folk music. In 2016, I picked up 2 CDs from a songwriter named Susan Shan at the Southeast Regional Folk Alliance Conference in Montreat, North Carolina. Her song, You Reap What You Sow, grabbed me immediately. It had a message that I felt was timeless and timely. I loved the melody, especially on the bridge, and I really love to invite audience participation in my concerts. The chorus was catchy, it was singable. The entire song resonated with me as a positive message about doing your best at whatever you do and reaping the rewards or fruits of your labors. And I also interpreted the song as to mean caring for others and nurturing relationships, and in particular, keeping your word and your commitments, and that this would be returned to you in kind. And I think the message of caring and being kind to each other is very, very relevant today. I heard the song as a bluegrass song, and my co-producer Bob Harris suggested we get the best musicians we could from the bluegrass community. I'd worked with Greg Blake. A mutual friend, Casey Groves, reached out to Molly O'Brien for me. And Bob Harris had toured with Vassar Clements for 15 years, and he reached out to the other musicians on my behalf. I released it, and the song reached #1 on the Folk DJ chart in November 2017, and it spent 22 weeks on the Bluegrass Today Grassicana chart. That was pretty exciting. And then I released it on Facets of Folk as well. In June of 2020, I joined Bell Buckle Records, and I'm really excited to be part of this dynamic label. Bell Buckle is owned by Valerie Smith. She's a wonderful musician who excels at nurturing and promoting other musicians. Through Bell Buckle, I'm able to reach a much broader audience with my music, and even though I'm not able to perform or record right now, Valerie specializes in making music videos, and we had some conversations about how we could do that during the pandemic. We decided to go ahead and make a music video of You Reap What You Sow and re-release the song on her label. She's a very talented videographer, but we were challenged by geography as she's in Nashville and I'm in New Jersey. Finally, at the end of the summer, we hit on an idea to meet at a pick-your-own flower farm near where she had to come for business in Maryland, and we found a place called the Sunflower Garden in Westminster. She came in, we met, shot the video, and then I had asked all the artists to shoot themselves on their cell phone cameras, and Valerie put a beautiful video together of the song. It was featured in Bluegrass Today in the fall, and it had over 60,000 Facebook views and 2,900 YouTube views. Very exciting. Also, just by chance, through Bell Buckle Records, I had a conversation with Les Butler of Butler Music Group, and he promotes music to the Southern Gospel and Bluegrass Gospel genres. He felt the song would be well received there, and it's in the middle of a radio campaign to those markets, and it's getting airplay. We're very excited about that. I'm really, really grateful to Valerie Smith for truly helping me to broaden my reach of my music. And with that, let's watch You Reap What You Sow by Susan Shan.
I once asked the farmer as he toiled in the row to tell me his secret for making things grow. I'll always remember that look in his eye as he studied God's acre and gave his reply. You reap what you sow, so you'd better plan wisely, that the harvest may yield you a bounty of good. You get what you give, so give completely. Let all your deeds will return as they should. I once asked the baker as he leavened his bread why he went to such measure to make it the best. Without hesitation, without missing a beat, he put that bread in the oven and said these words to me: you reap what you sow, so you'd better plan wisely, that the harvest may yield you a bounty of good. You get what you give, so give completely, and all your deeds will return as they should. I nurtured each flower and I pulled out the weeds. I watched as they blossomed and saw it so clear, the truth of those words that still ring in my ear. You reap what you sow, so you'd better plan wisely, that the harvest may yield you a bounty of good. You get what you give, so give completely, and all your deeds will return as they should. All your deeds will return as they should. You reap what you sow, so you'd better plan wisely.
If you love lush harmonies and beautiful songs, my 3 CDs are available on my website, maralevine.com, for $15 each plus $4 for shipping and handling. You may have heard the expression, there's hundreds of dollars to be made as a folk musician. I think in my case, there's thousands to be spent. Many musicians have needed additional sources of income even before the pandemic, and I've been working as a jewelry designer for the past 20 years as well as a folk singer, and I can say that the jewelry has actually financed the production of all 3 of my CDs. In order to help me cross-market, all of the CDs have jewelry-themed titles, and my first 2 have full-color booklets with original creations on each page, sort of like a catalog. My first, Mara's Gems, I consider to be the gems of folk music, plus the gems that supported my folk music habit. It came out in 2008, and it reached number 18 on the International Folk DJ chart. It's available as a hard copy only. My last 2 CDs can also be downloaded as individual tracks or as a full album. All 3 were blessed with beautiful reviews. My second CD, Jewels in Harmony, is a lush harmony-filled project with special guests including Gathering Time, Cy Khan, Brother Sun, Shannon Lambert-Ryan from Runa, Pat Wichter and Cheryl Prashker, and Terry Kitchen. It was released in 2013 with 15 harmony-filled tracks. I'm proud to say it had the #1 album, artist, and song spots on the International Folk DJ chart for January 2013, and it was number 3 for the year. My third album, Facets of Folk, was released in 2019 and also had the #1 album, artist, and song spots on the Folk Alliance International Folk DJ chart in January 2019, and it reached number 3 for the year as well. There were 2 advanced singles from that one, By My Silence by Ellen Buxtel and Nick Annis, and You Reap What You Sow by Susan Shan, that reached number 1 on the folk charts. Guests on this project include Gathering Time, Michael Ronstadt, Kim and Reggie Harris, Ed Trickett, Mark Schatz, Rob Ikes, and Molly O'Brien, among others. If you love sparkly things or want to give a special gift, I also have a 36-page catalog of my jewelry available on request. I use semi-precious stones, pearls, sterling silver or silver-plated and gold-filled or gold-plated materials on my handcrafted pieces. And I have a variety of costume jewelry as well. Many of my pieces are limited edition or one of a kind. You can email me at marablevine@gmail.com and I'll send it to you via WeTransfer. My prices are very reasonable. The last song in my Woodstock Wednesday showcase is another great find from a Folk Alliance conference. I heard a brand new song by Nancy Cassidy, a songwriter from Palo Alto, California, called Hallelujah in a showcase room that I was running. Immediately after her performance, I approached her. I asked for permission to perform and record the song. She let me know that she had just written it and asked if I could wait until she recorded it. The following year, she approached me CD in hand. She gave me the CD and her blessing to both perform and record the song. Ultimately, I recorded it with Caroline Catronio, who is one of my musical partners, and Brother Son, who not only joined us in the studio, but for a live performance at the Hurdy-Gurdy Folk Club in Fair Lawn the same year. The clip you're going to see is from that performance, and Caroline is singing lead as she did when we performed it live at that time. We have Al Sklar on bass, and we also have Bob Harris on the lead guitar. Carol asked me if I could present a song that was about hope or looking ahead, and this song immediately came to mind. I know you're going to want to join us on the choruses. Hallelujah can be found on my 2013 release, Jewels and Harmony. I welcome you to join us on stage to open the show with a beautiful song called Hallelujah by Nancy Cassidy. And we expect you all to join in because we're warming you up for the evening. So this is Hallelujah.
Hallelujah, hallelujah.
I'm so grateful to Carol and to Woodstock Wednesdays for hosting me, and to you for tuning in, for all your support of artists during these difficult times. Due to the pandemic, like so many artists, all my live concerts and jewelry shows have been canceled. If you'd like to support me, you can visit my website, maralevine.com. You can go to the Buy Music page. For a jewelry catalog, write me at marablevine@gmail.com. And you can also PayPal me a donation there at marablevine@gmail.com as well. I have some upcoming Zoom gigs I'd like to mention. On Saturday, April 3rd, from 4 to 7 p.m., I'll be on Zoom in the round with Arlen Bennett and Randy O'Neill at the PASA House Concert Series. That's the Philadelphia Area Songwriters Association. And I'll be performing songs of other PASA members. For a link to watch, contact Rob Lincoln at lincolnsongs@aol.com. That's LINCOLNSONGS@aol.com. On Sunday, May 15th, I'll be co-billing with Gathering Time at the Whirlwind House Concert Series from 5 to 6:30 p.m. For information, write Madomita at whirlwind.house.concerts@gmail.com. Also, I recently performed in the Any Sunday Songwriters Showcase hosted by Jan Sides in the round with Jan and Jim Beiser. And that performance is still available to be watched on her YouTube at www.youtube.com/JANSEIDES. Thank you again for tuning in. Please stay safe and healthy as we all look forward to better days in the year to come.